What's up, everybody? I decided to have this video because I saw a video posted on Facebook called Tea Time with Toni. Um, and it was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, the last nail in the coffin type thing. So it's not just what she said. The reason why I decided to have this video, it's what I've heard time and time and time again. So I thought, you know what? Today is the day that y'all gonna hear what I gotta say. So the topic was blacks are leaving Christianity. That was her topic. So with all due respect for everyone, I just want everyone to know that I respect anyone's beliefs, their thoughts, what they feel and all that. I respect that. However, I want you to also respect my thoughts and my beliefs. So we're going to dig right in there. So she was saying that blacks are very gullible and do your research. Her frustration is that she said, I'm not going to do quote unquote because I don't want to misquote her, but she was basically saying that you've been raised all these years as a Christian based off of, how your grandmother taught you and your family or whatever, all these years, and all of a sudden you don't want to be a Christian no more because you saw a post or something on IG or social media that made you not believe in Christianity anymore. And said, do your research. You need to do your research and not base it off of what someone has said or why are you so loud in the kitchen? Anyway,
Wait a minute.
so I'm checking you too. I'm at my niece's house and she's like loud, knowing that I think she's trying to distract me, but it ain't gonna work. But anyway, she found this time to decide to do her dishes or whatever she's doing. But what I want to say is, I was raised Baptist. My dad was a minister. My parents were amazing. I don't think I could have picked better parents. They had a slew of children, 14 children, and they're both deceased. So I decided and I started to think about things, not so much do research, but to think about things that just doesn't quite seem right. It just doesn't make any sense. And a lot of things that I remembered and growing up over the years about the Bible and Christianity, it just didn't seem right. So even though it's tough to go against what you've thought and was raised for so many years, it's tough to think about that and be like, no, that's not right, because you feel like you're being disrespectful. You feel like you're failing your grandmother who gave you all this knowledge and wisdom and all this stuff. You feel like you're being disrespectful. And as a Southern black person or people just back in the day, respect was big, and so it's hard for them to wrap their head around the fact that they've believed in something their entire life, and to think that that could not be true is just they can't wrap their head around it. Me, on the other hand, if something doesn't seem right or whatever, I'm just not going to follow it, and that's the truth. Whether I feel I'm disrespecting someone or not. The Bible. So she said, I don't believe everything that's in the Bible. She's not the first person I heard say that as a Christian. And I'm confused by that. And she said, so, because the reason why I don't believe everything in the Bible, because it was written by man and nobody is perfect. That's a very good point. And they said, don't put your trust in man, but you want me to read this book, but not believe everything that's in it? That's crazy to me. So when you say you don't believe everything that's in the Bible, that means some of parts of it is lies, fabrication, or exaggerated. But this is the same book that you're supposed to. That is your weapon. That's the book that you keep and read daily.
They're not reading.
Daily. This is a book that decides whether you burn in hell forever. But you don't believe everything that's in there. Then that means if you don't believe everything that's in there, that means you're basically saying that some of it is lies, fabrication, or exaggerated. That's not okay if it's based off of your life and where you spend eternity. So everything isn't true in the Bible. So how do we know who decides, and how do we decide what's true and what's not in the Bible? So let's say you have no attraction to the opposite sex. I mean, to the same sex. You have no attraction to that. So we're going to go ahead and say, since you are have no attraction to the same sex, you're not going to be gay. So she's about to knock she's just all over here. Normally she's somewhere else, and I don't even see it. Now she's about to take the thing that I'm holding my phone up with. But anyway, that's the devil. Anyway, so you you're not attracted to the same sex. So let's say you're not going to be gay. So we're going to go ahead and say that the part in the Bible about homosexual, we're going to go ahead and say that you're going to follow that. That's what you believe. Okay. But let's say maybe, having sex and not married, I'm going to be with the person eventually. This is someone I love. I'm going to marry them eventually. So I'm going to go ahead and, test drive.
Bone 'em.
Test drive. But since I'm going to marry him anyway, I'm not really sinning. So you're going to take that part and you're going to do that, but you're not going to be gay. But the person that's gay, you're going to be like, yeah, the Bible says in Psalms or this, whatever, is blah, blah, blah. But then I'm looking at you sideways because I'm like, well, I'm gay, but I'm married to my girlfriend and you're having sex and not married. So how do we decide who's right and wrong? If not, you don't believe everything in the Bible that's true. So I believe that that's wrong to be sleeping with somebody you're not married to, but that's why I married my girlfriend. So who decides, who comes in and decide who's right or wrong? If you don't believe it, I'm not going to read and follow a book that I don't believe everything that's in it. And it's based off of where I'm going to spend my life. That's crazy to me. Makes no sense. And you're doing just that, putting your trust in man, because this Bible was written when? How many years ago? So you're trying to tell me this person that wrote the Bible was not biased. He did everything and wrote everything the way he was told. He didn't take nothing out. He didn't leave nothing in. He didn't add his own stuff in there. So you're basically doing exactly what you're saying. And don't put your trust in man. That's what you're doing. So that's what we're talking about, the Bible. So that's why, and it's contradicting. And let's talk about the New Testament and Old Testament. Because some people say, oh, that was in the Old Testament, but this is in the New Testament. So when you tell me that means that what was in the Old Testament wasn't right or accurate. So they had to go in and figure that out and was like, okay, that's not. So when it was originally written, there was some errors. So that's why they wrote the New Testament. So that's what we're supposed to follow, the New Testament, right? So if there was some things that didn't seem right in the Old Testament, they rewrote it and did the New Testament. So that means that there's a possibility there's some stuff in that now that's like, that ain't quite right. So who's going to rewrite this thing? Has it been rewritten? So do we have a new Testament? Do we have an updated version? No, it's still the same old beliefs and stuff back then. And you think I'm supposed to follow that today? Everything evolves over time. Let's say back in the day, the thoughts of people back then, it's not as, elevated and not like it is today. Old murder cases. You know how many cases that have been reopened due to more knowledge and understanding and research and people realize it? I mean, the crimes that was committed back then, had they been done today, there's no way they would have made it 5 minutes. They've been caught right away. How do you think that happened? Because the thought process of people back then and over time, people realize, oh, that's not right. That's not accurate. Oh, let's relook at this and that. So a lot of old murder cases have been reopened, and they have found the person 30 years later, due to the fact that your mindset back then is not like today. You don't have the resources or the knowledge or the understanding to know what life is like or whatever. All right. Back in the day, you remember when kids sick with mumps and all these childhood diseases, kids were dying over stuff like that. But over time, people have done more knowledge, research, and have immunizations that stop that. Now, it's sad now that some people are not doing it because they are, infecting people with the flu and different things like that. True. I agree with that. But however, kids are not dying over little simple things like that because of knowledge and understanding. So we still stick, the Bible is the only thing that's not been updated or researched or changed or whatever. But everything else has. You know what I'm saying? And my ancestors, grandparents, and all that back then, they had little to no access to education, to anything, but the Bible. So let's say the Bible is not as accurate. So that's all they had to go by. And at that point, they was trying to grab onto it, whatever they could, because that's all they could grab onto. And I feel like it is brainwashing. Absolutely. 1000%. The Bible is it causes so much discord and so much judgment and so much anger and finger pointing than any book that I know. And people, Toni, you did this, and you're not the only one that did this. You compared the Bible to, it's just like going to college in a textbook or whatever. It's you don't believe everything that's in a textbook or in this, but that's crazy to me. You're going to compare the Bible and follow the Bible to a book at school? That book at school is not determine if you're going to burn in hell or not. That book at school is not having you point fingers at your family members because you're gay or because this person is not married and they having sex and all that. That textbook isn't doing that. It's not deciding where you spend the rest of your life, if you're going to go to heaven or hell. Completely different. That's like comparing, I wouldn't even say apple to oranges, because they're both fruit. That's like comparing a steak to an apple. Completely different. So quit saying it's like you take, not everything is factual. So I was talking to my sister and she said, well, the reason why I believe everything in the Bible is true because it was written long time ago, and the things that were written long time ago is happening today. I said, oh. But right before that, she was about to say something, and she was like, ooh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to speak that out. And I was like, oh, okay, so you believe in the power of words? And she was like, yeah. I said, okay. So you're cautious of what you speak out of your mouth because you believe words have power. You believe in the power of words. She said, yes. I said, I do too. I absolutely do believe in the power of words. So I went a little further and said, the Bible is, I would say, the most popular book in the world. It's been around forever. It's been read, cited, quoted, preached for millions of years by millions of people. Is that fair to say? She's like, yeah, okay. Well, let's go back to the power of words. So the words in this book that's been said and cited and quoted and spoken out with conviction and all this energy and vibration over all these years, you don't think that that's why the stuff that's in the Bible that's happening is because it was spoken into existence? If you believe in the power of words, that doesn't mean that it's true. What? Let's say the Bible was written and nothing in there was so scary and fire and brimstone and this red devil with the fork and poking people and then you're going to go to this beautiful place, heaven, where the streets are paved with gold. You never have to worry and everything's perfect. You'll never be sick anymore and all that. All that's in there. There's some scary stuff in there and Revelation and there's going to be a fire one day the fireman can't put out and you're going to burn and burn for eternity. And just the requirements, the things that's required, like how do we decide who make it? If we're not all perfect, and a sin is a sin, there's no such thing as a big sin and a little sin. So how do we decide who makes it? Because we don't know when we're going to go. You can be a Christian and be, follow the Bible as much as you can. And right before, you die, that you unexpectedly, somebody could have done something that really upset you, rightfully so, and then you react to it, and then boom, you get hit by a car and die. So what happened? Do you go to hell? Or is there like a grading thing if you have to get a 95 or above to make it? I don't know. But I don't believe in heaven and hell. As I've told people before, I believe it's like one of those things you tell your kids, the boogeyman gonna get you if you don't stop acting like that. It's the fear that was put in people to make them act right. That's what I think the whole heaven and hell thing was. That's where it started from. Because there's no, and Tony said, do your research. Where can I research to find out for sure that heaven and hell exist? Who's been there? I mean, there's no way to research to see an actual video that's real that God was walking on water, that there was a bush, Moses before a burning bush that kept burning, didn't burn out, that he turned water into wine. I have no way of finding all this stuff to be, and no one's came back. No disciples, nobody has came back to redo things and say, hey, look, we've been up in heaven, we discussed some things, so look, we got to make some adjustments. There hasn't been anyone. We're just down here figuring it out on our own. But back then, they all walked around like we did, and you know, and had people, you know, come in, and miracles was happening right then. But where are they? Now, I don't believe in heaven and hell. I don't read the Bible, and I don't go to church. I am Buddhist. But do I believe in a higher being? 1000%. And why is that? Because I've had dreams and visions and intuition of things and people and all that I have no way of, there's nothing that can explain that besides there being a higher being, the universe. So do I believe in that? Absolutely. But it's not based off of a book. I am a non-judgmental person. I'm very honest. I love people. I respect people. I mind my own damn business. A lot of Christians don't. I am happy with who I am. And I get lots of dreams and vision because I'm not blocked by all of this crap and judgment and me feeling like I'm better than you and all that because I'm a Christian and you're not on all of that. So I will say, let me make sure I'm covering everything. Yep, I said that. Yep. But I really feel like the Bible has caused it's meant to confuse people. I really do. Just like they created different languages to confuse back, because they didn't want them to communicate or whatever. The Bible is just that. It is meant to confuse people, have people going against this. I'm right because I don't do this and you right. It has caused nothing but discord. So I don't read it. And from what y'all say, everything in it ain't true. So what am I supposed to know what's true or not? All I know is that people that your Bible, because it's in the Word. It's in the Word. It's a lot of stuff in the Word that I've seen y'all do and point out. And only I pointed out because y'all point out this and that, quoting scriptures to other people, but you're not following it yourself. So if you don't believe in the Bible 100%, why are you even following it? I don't understand. That makes no sense to me. I think that's about it that I wanted to say. But I love my parents, my ancestors and all that, but it was just lack of knowledge. They just didn't know. They wasn't educated. They didn't know anything. They wasn't given anything. All they had to do is base off of like hope and wish and what was told to them. And I think it is a lot of brainwashing. Absolutely. So again, my research is based off of what I've experienced personally. And I've had dreams and visions about, and I've told them, like, I had a dream about you. I don't know what it means, but let me just tell you, because I know it's not for me, because why randomly just dream about you? Sometimes people I barely even know. And once I start to tell them, they can't even let me finish because they're so shocked because there's no way I would have known that. So it's confirmation for them. So it was a message to let them know whatever you were working on and praying to whoever, God, the universe, I think it's one higher being, and it's being called different things. I say the universe now. I do still from habit say thank you, Lord, or God, or whatever. But I do believe, I don't know what the name is. I really don't care what the name is. The name doesn't really matter to me. It's all about just that higher being. But and somebody, my sister asked me, or someone asked me, well, if you don't believe in heaven and hell, where do you think your soul will go afterwards? I have no idea. I really don't know. I can't say, oh, I definitely believe in reincarnation or anything like that. I have no idea, but I don't believe that there is this place that you go and burn in hell forever. And this magical place. I mean, I'm like, I said to my family, I was like, that doesn't seem far-fetched to you? When you think about how they describe heaven and how perfect it is, and you get to go there and all that, I said that seems like a Disney fairy tale, like whoa, wow. And I can see people back in the day. I mean, that's just want to believe in it. Wait, what? I don't have to be poor anymore. There's gold. I could see them just like wow, and then they're instilling it in the kids. Like, look, fear was put in us very young, and then I'm gonna close this out. And I understand why.
Because I was rubbish and bad.
Fear was put in us because a lot of things you would get murdered for back in the day. So if I was a mom back then, I would tell them, don't look at the white person, don't say this, don't do that, make sure you do this, don't lie. I would be telling them all that because I wouldn't want them to get murdered. So fear was put in us. So we was a fear of everything that would kill us. So I understand why blacks, and we've gotten better, and people say I don't like to be called black as black. I don't look black, African American, whatever you want to call yourself. It was put into us early on due to all the stuff that was happening back then. And I understand that. That's why I feel like we fear a lot of things. Everything with us gonna kill us. And it's like, no, it's I learned that a lot of stuff that I thought would kill me, it didn't kill me. So yeah, a lot of different beliefs. Oh, that'll kill you, whatever. So we were very fearful. And we're not as adventurous as other cultures, and I believe that's why. We speak differently, and my thoughts on that is that we didn't have the education. So the words that our ancestors learned, they learned by overhearing the educated person say it. So they learned it but didn't hear it exactly to how it's supposed to be enunciated. So then when they taught the kids, they taught them by talking to them incorrectly. So now when you see kids today, because they're educated and go to school, they sound like white people, which is not white people. It's the correct way of speaking, because they actually get to go and learn how the word is actually said, not by overhearing it while they're hiding in the kitchen making the bread or something. They heard them and they're having a conversation. You know what I mean? So that's why, and then it was passed down or whatever. So that's why the speaking is different. But now our children speak correctly. Not white, but correctly. But anyway, that's my thoughts. My name is Ursula Joyner. You might know me from the different things I've done, from Straight from the Horse's Mouth and being in the industry. But Miss Toni, Tea Time with Toni, we can sit and chat. I don't know where you live, girl, but this was not just because of but I saw your video and it just made me say, let me respond to Toni, but it's not just to you, because things you've said, I've heard a lot of people say already. And I was just like, done with it. So anyway, sorry, it's a 20-something minute video, but I had to get some things off my chest. And if you see my chest is clear and nice. Just kidding, but kind of. All right. Everybody have an opinion. They said opinions like a butthole. Everybody's got one. So you don't have to agree with me, but you got to respect me. Peace out.